Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices for the 24th of November. Look, to be upfront, there's not a lot I can sort of help with at this particular point because I've got two counts here, as you can see, for wave 1 and wave 2 here. I can see in the bigger picture that we're bullish, and I can see that because we've got from this high here down to this low here, we've got a corrective pattern. So we'll end up higher here. I just don't know if we have wave 1 here or 2 here and then push higher, or we need to look at this as wave 1 coming up to this point here somewhere and then coming back for wave 2 at this point. So this would be sort of, this wave 2 coming back here would be lagging the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and all those sorts of things. But Australia is in the same sort of situation with this as well, the same problem here. So it's possible that it can come down at this particular point. So I just don't know. And this movement sideways across here, yes, it looks like a triangle. So we can look at, I don't know if I've got the 15-minute chart or the hourly chart here. So in this instance here, let me bring back in a little bit more data here. So we can look at it as wave 3 over here, and then an A, B, C, D, and then an A, B, C over here for the E wave like we looked at yesterday, and then looking for long trades up here because we already may have a long trade sitting in here and here with this. So I've just brought the stop up under this low here because look, it has made a new high here for that, above that. So it's possible to put, I mean, it's a bit of a long shot, but it's possible to put that wave 5 here and wave 1 sitting here for that. And then we start to come down for that correction with 5 waves down here, a little corrective pattern here. We got 3, 4, 5 here, then an A, B, C pattern here, and then another 5 waves down here to make the, you know, the A, the B, and the C wave here. Now that wouldn't be in line with the US markets count that we have, so that's against the grain there a little bit. It's quite clear that this is a corrective pattern across here, but now do we have a top at this particular point? Doesn't count very well as 5 waves up here. It counts as 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2. We could put, it's possible to put this wave 4 here right in this little area through here and look at that as a 5 wave move here. So that's possible as well. Looking at this here, I looked on the cash market. It does appear that this is 5 waves down here. That's what it appears on the cash market to be. And then this is a 3-wave move here. This is the 50-60% retracement level up here. So we could go long above. Well, let's just say let's just refine that and get that in order a little bit. That's 13,250 here. That's the closest, largest number. We need to drift over to that. Find the 61.8% and then always drift over to the closest, largest number, because there'll be psychology there in terms of how people place orders at certain numbers. So, you know, we can look to go long there again if we get some support up there. And of course, we don't ever chase the first high above the level. That becomes our reference point to go. And if it goes up there, well, then we can add to the position, but we do need to protect what we've got so far. This may be also an A wave here, B wave here, and a C wave here, and then falter down here. So just be mindful of that as well at that point. So we really need a clear, solid support pattern, classic trading levels pattern sitting on the 250, the midpoint, the 50. We're still in minor group 1 of 13,000, 100, 200, and 300. If we do get support on the 300, then we're going higher at that point. But as I just mentioned, it does appear that we've got 5 waves down here, so it's quite easy to look at this as wave 1 here and wave 2 sitting either here or here. So I'll just put that in the middle here for the time being. So on the long side, at least, we can say that 13,250 would be the long trade at that point. If you've got longs in the market, you don't want 13,150 becoming the retested resistance. So you could get a better stop in there at that point, but that midpoint is our saving grace at this point for that. So Yeah, like I mentioned, it does count quite nicely as a triangle. You could count it differently as a triangle as well. You could count this down here as the A wave here, copy this here and have the B wave over here, and then have the C wave down here for wave 4 over here as well. And then between A here and B here becomes a triangle pattern as well. So there's many roads to Rome on this particular pattern, but what I can say on the bullish side is we've got support on the 13,000. We are looking at a corrective pattern across here. It's just a little bit unfortunate that this move down through here presenting itself as 5 waves here. On the FTSE, we'd been counting this up here just on the hourly chart. We've been counting it up as 5 waves to the upside to this point, and then we'll look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to over here, and then looking at this here as well, the A wave at this point. And we had this here as the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave here for the B wave. So that's still sort of possible. We haven't made a new high above here just yet. Would only go long above the 6,400, above the 61.8% mark there, that box. So we're still looking for a move lower here in this instance here. So we can, it's possible to have another correct. It's also possible to put wave B here as well in that instance. I mean, if that is the case, I can see that we've got 5 waves here, and this looks corrective here. So we can probably look at this also as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 to finish this off here in line with the DAX in that regard. So I'll just clean this up here and just sort of refining that there, because it doesn't matter on the long side. We're not going to go long until we get support in this space here. We're only going to go long if we get support on that. If this market pushed straight up here, then we still need to wait for that first high above the level here. Normally that sits within group 1, which is 10, 20 and 30 of the 400 there. And once we've got that, then we can look at going long here. And of course, there also can be the second high to give you a better entry in at that point. But otherwise, we'll need to pick it up down here somewhere, Yeah, I mean, really, this is just, if we just draw a line through here, that's just retesting. It's just like another level really, but just on an angle. So it's just retesting that at that stage. So yeah, look, this is rather complicated here. We did pin it out in the 15-minute chart for this yesterday. It fitted quite nicely as wave 5 here, an A wave here, ABC for the B wave, and a C wave here. So we could look at this as down for 1 and back for 2, down for 1 and back for 2, and looking at that as a bigger bearish picture down there as well. So we could look at that. We can put that, copy that here. But the main point here is we don't have, we don't have that long trade set up just yet. So this one here can be wave 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, 5 here, just for the 3rd wave, the 4th wave and the 5th wave here, and then up. So that can play out like that. In that regard, we can also start to look for supports and all those sorts of sort of basic things at that level and so on. But yeah, look, support on 6.4, nothing's changed. It hasn't changed for days on this. We go long on 6.4 as support. If that goes up there, we do that. Otherwise, we expect it down. How we count it down could be this way here, or that wave B could be sitting over here. So we'll need to gather more evidence on this low here, how to play that out at that particular point. So I'll just save that there. But coming back to the DAX just for a moment, just to recap this a little bit. This is our original thoughts here as 1 and 2 and 3 here and 4 and 5 here, and looking for this ABC pattern here. I suppose, just to recap this bit, if we get support on top of the 300, the 13,300, well, then we know that we're going higher at that stage. I mean, it's also possible to look at this as wave 1, put this over here for that, and look at this as wave 1 here and ABC back for wave 2 here, and then building through here up and further up into that space. So there's lots that can be done here, but we just need to be mindful of a retracement. However, support on that 15-minute chart here, let's just look at that where we're working the trade. So support on the 13,250 is the next step higher if we go that way, and then we'll be certainly looking getting support on the 300, which is the top of group 1. Then we know that once we get a tested support on this number here on top of group 1, then the market won't be pulled by this number here, this larger number, because they're like magnets. But at some point you get too far away and they just lose their grip, and they start to look at the next numbers, because if you get support on 3 here, then the market psychology will be looking at 5. So that's where the magnet stops pulling with the tested support on 3, and it'll be pulled to 5 at that point. It's kind of that simple, and it works pretty much most of the time. So it's worth understanding that. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I don't really have any sort of answers. It is a little bit messy. We are waiting for the S&P and the NASI to push higher at that point. We know that the US stocks need to also come down a little bit further. So we're not seeing the catalysts drive the market just yet. Okay, cheers.